Hey everyone, so today we are here to discuss if the SOP that we are going to be seeing and I'm going to be reviewing side by side is going to get accepted or not. What are the flaws in that SOP so you don't make those mistakes? How to correct those mistakes? What can be added up over there? So this is one of the SOPs that students initially write to us before we start editing them. So I'm just giving you a brief of how a lot of people end up submitting these SOPs as it is and then face rejection. So here we're going to be doing it paragraph by paragraph, starting first, second, third, fourth, fifth paragraphs till the end, and I'll try to make it as informative as possible. Talking about who I am and why I am eligible to do this. So hey guys, this is Kevin this side. I am the founder of Alconnect. I have helped students get into colleges like HEC, LSE, LBS, Carnegie Mellon, UIUC, Columbia. We have a lot of mentors. Mentors are people who are themselves studying at top colleges abroad. They help students, and I, with them, help out these students together. And we've helped students get into, degrees, and we've helped students for degrees like Masters in Computer Science, MBA, Finance, Marketing, MIM, lots and lots of degrees. So stay tuned. This is going to be an extremely informative session. So guys, we have our SOP ready. So let's start with it. This is the first paragraph. Here the person really talks about how they are so eager to pursue a master's in finance, what they really love about in the particular college, why they admire that college and everything, right? Which is actually nice and it's needed in the SOP, but it is not really at the right place right now. So when we talk about the first paragraph, the paragraph really sets the tone, right? It really grabs the attention. It's like the first impression. So if you can create a certain image of yours, if you can keep the reader grabbed in the initial few paragraphs, you have done the job with the first paragraph. So that's what is the goal. This paragraph is definitely important, but it will come later in this. So because for somebody who's reading this from a certain college, they already know, all these things about that particular college. So it's not interesting to them, right? So we'll discuss how this can be used later on. Starting. So this first paragraph is, in our terms, it's called hook. Okay. A hook can be, how your love for finance really started. So we are taking finance as an example, but this SOP would work out for computer science, marketing, MIM, any other degree, right? Format really remains the same. Reasons change. So hook can be a story that you can start off with. I'm really sorry, my writing is not good. It can be, a conversation, like, you are talking to somebody, you're showing it in your SOP that, you started your conversation from, and, how it really went. And that's how your love for finance really started. So I remember helping someone out, and their SOP really started off with, a conversation with their mother, I think, who was in hospital and who was having a decent position, and they started talking about finance and other things and how her, inclination towards finance really started. She eventually got into NUS, National University of Singapore. But yeah, make it as interesting as possible. But again, it should be in sync with what the degree is about. So that's finance in this case. So it can be a story, a conversation, it can be an instance, a bold statement, it can be anything, but it should really grab the attention and then connect it back. Okay. Now coming to the next paragraph, right? That is, here the person really talks about, their passion about the SOP. So they talk about, how their passion really started and, what they were doing in high school and everything. Okay. And so, see, when you talk about an SOP, right, you already have very less space. So if you start including things from your schooling period, it can really, take away a lot of space and you won't have enough to talk about when what's needed, right? So here they are talking about leadership roles and everything, but high school achievements are not that important, right? Because they have happened way back in the past, right? So you've already done your degree, your bachelor's, it's already 3 or 4 years. Then you're talking about high school, it's like 4 to 5 years before. So we'll focus more on your undergraduate achievements in your SOP. And after that, you can use this for your hook, right? You can use your undergrad, or sorry, not your undergrad, your high school for your hook. Like maybe, show how you were in your school and you were always so much into numbers, you were so much in love with mathematics, or there was a lot of clubs, and how a lot of activities made you question the importance of numbers, and how that led you to a certain degree in your undergrad, and how it's leading to finance. So that's a way to do it. So I would suggest not keeping it at all, right? So a big no for this. Then yeah, so we should of course start with undergrad. Good chronology. You're starting with where you actually started with. You talk. So here this person goes on to talk about the achievements they've had. The college they are from. The college name is not mentioned over here. If it's a really good college, you should always mention that and showcase that as an achievement. How difficult that was, right? Not to brag, but again to showcase that how you've been a person, who loves challenges. Now this is an important thing. So here the person really talks about how they interned at this company called Finzi, a micro lending startup focused on small businesses, and learned the importance of data-driven decision making in supporting underserved businesses, which is fine. This is needed. It's extremely important, but the way it's mentioned is not impactful, right? It just talks about what they learned, right? So you have to again understand that when you are going to a certain college, top college abroad, the colleges won't really take you in because you want to get in, right? You have to showcase that how you're really different and unique. And trust me, every other person writes their SOP in this way. So you have to really try to think, how can I really go deep in my experience? And you can really take instances, right? So what's missing in this SOP, this particular experience, is an instance right now, right? So an experience. So instance would be like maybe you were interning, and how you saw some problems that were related to finance or in the firm, right? How you solved certain problems. So a whole instance showing ki it was this day, this problem came, manager told me this, I was about to do this, but this was the problem, how I solved those problems. So really go deep down into that experience, right? Now again, it's not really necessary that every internship, if you've done 5 internships, you mention about all the 5 internships in the SOP. You really pick up your experience. That's why, because we're going deep into each experience, so we can't really go deep into all 5 experiences. We need to pick up ki where you feel you've done the best work and most impactful work. So we'll pick that particular part, we'll go deep into it, and we'll show who you are as a person. So here, talking about what are the challenges, why you started interning with this company, what made you different, like than the other interns who were over there, how you do create an impact, right? So not just the learnings. You can talk about learnings at the end of whole story that you've narrated, but this is how you should go about your experience, right? So I don't think this is impactful anyway. Won't really surprise a top college at home. Same thing with the next paragraph. Currently, I serve as an analyst at XYZ Financial Services, evaluating loan proposals for some small and medium enterprises, which is fine. They're giving an introduction. Over the past 18 months, I've earned my ability. So again, if you read this through, if you can pause the video and read this through, you'll again see that it follows a similar pattern, just talks about learning and what their understanding have been for concepts. So what I've told you earlier has to be applied over here also, if you feel this is important for you to mention in the SOP. So now coming and talking about short-term goals, which is the most important aspect. The person here talks about the firms they are targeting, which is a very strong thing. You should always name the companies. That gives the colleges more confidence. That's really nice. They talk about corporate finance evaluation division contributing to high impact projects like mergers and acquisitions. I think this is good. In the long term, I aspire to establish a consultancy in India offering small and medium enterprises specialized financial advisory services in areas like working capital management and debt restructuring. My diverse experiences positioned to achieve these ambitions. Okay, both of these are fine, but they're not really connected, right? So how do your short-term goals connect with long-term goals? That's very important, right? You need to connect them well, because it will otherwise seem like you've just talked about something that is maybe like a fashion or a passion or your fascination in the future, right? If you want to showcase that you're really sure about that goal, you have a concrete goal, it would really align with what you want to do just after your college to what you want to do after 5 years, right? So again, colleges like confident applicants who know what they are doing. Secondly, right, so when you're starting this paragraph, like this is a very advanced technique that we follow in our SOPs. I'm giving you all the gold over here. So when you talk about starting the this particular paragraph, you should be starting off by showing ki how all the experiences you had till now, whatever you've done, be it your extracurriculars in finance or your work experience in finance, how that adds up to your short-term goal, right? Like really tell how it is blending into towards. So how it has really prepared you for a good short-term goal. That's extremely important, right? So all the paragraphs have to be connected well with each other. That is one very important prerequisite, right? So they should connect with this, they should connect with this, they should connect with this, right? And this with this. That's really, really important for any SOP. When you talk about short-term goals, long-term goals, I think this is mostly fine, but you should, if you want to really go deep down and give them more assurance, you can always talk about how and why you like these firms, right? What makes you target these firms? The person has talked about what they will do in this firm. This is important. You should always do that. But what's making you target these firms? That's very important. How will you be able to create different impact than anybody else for this particular role at this firm? Again, very important. Your past is going to help you create that answer. So these are two things that you should talk about. Over here, the person goes and talks about how the college focuses on experiential learning, its robust curriculum aligns perfectly with their aspirations, opportunity to engage with cutting edge tools in finance lab. Okay, now if I pick this paragraph and I really change the college, because right now we're discussing this for London School of Economics, but if I use this paragraph, it would really fit well in an NUS SOP also, or in a Columbia SOP also if you're doing it for USA. Why? Because it's a very generic paragraph, right? You would want to talk about something that only happens in that college and you're genuinely passionate about that, right? So maybe a particular club. So how is that club helpful to you? How would you go there, right? So really manifest that, so that I would go over to that club, I'll do this, I'll do that, I want to do this, I want to do that when I join the college. So really talk it in terms of you're already doing those things. That again would give the colleges more confidence. Again, show that how your previous experiences have prepared you well to do that. Again, but personalize even more. See, again guys, with the whole rise of AI, right, all these things, they are very, very easily written. Anybody can write this SOP, and I'm very sure this student that wrote this SOP, this was an AI version of it, right? So, and I had to sort of remove a lot of personal details from it because we cannot reveal those details, but anybody can write this SOP, right? And that's why not everybody can get into a college like London School of Economics. Your story has to be very different. You've done the hard work, you've created your profile, you have a good GMAT score. Your story should really tell why you are really unique, right? And you cannot do that by being generic. So this is again something you should focus a lot on. Personalizing the why college paragraph. That is the lesson that I have to talk about over here, right? That's why college paragraph. Okay. Now, quickly revising again, if at the end, when you are like sort of finishing it off, you should always leave with a circle back to what you had in the first paragraph. It really makes the reader feel good, right? So for example, if you talk about a certain poem or a shairi, if it really comes back with what it started off with, it really gives the person certain kind of a joy, right? Happiness, that it's really coming back to it. It also gives them a certain type of surprise. Creativity is also needed there, but that's what business schools and engineering schools SOPs are. Engineering schools SOPs are more about ambitions, and how your current connects with those ambitions. That is the most important part in that. But when you talk about a business school SOP, the whys are very, very important. Why you've done that, why you've done this, and how that connects with your particular college career goal. So why college paragraph and hook are really, really important. How you talk about your work experience in a certain way is extremely important, right? Let me give you a small hint. The bigger the dragons you slay, the bigger the character comes out to be, right? It's a very small hint, but I hope people will understand. So hook is important. Your experiences talked about in a certain way are important, right? And then your extracurriculars, right? This SOP misses extracurriculars. There's no space. The word limit for London School of Economics is 1500 words, right? You can literally write everything. So that's missing. Extracurricular should be there. Again, trying to, being relevant with the degree is very important when you're talking about extracurriculars. Certification, I think this person talked about certifications in this paragraph, above paragraph. But yeah, profile wise, try to, if you're still working on things, try to have like a CFA, FRM for a finance degree. Yeah, that would help you a lot. So that's it for this video. I hope this gives you a lot of insights on how an SOP should be written, what not to do, what mistakes to avoid. If you want the edited version of this SOP, I can do that. Just do one thing: go to the description, book a session with us, a request for a sample SOP. I think we can send you an edited version of this SOP, how we did that. And yeah, that's it. If you like the video, if you like the concept of this video, I think nobody else is doing something like this right now. We're going to be repeating this with LORs, resumes also. So please do subscribe to the channel. And any improvements on the content part, please do comment so we can, improve our content and keep you happy. Eventually, our goal is to see you study at the best college possible abroad. That's what our goal is. I hope this helps.